Real question, are there people out there who don't like Ninja Turtles? I've personally never met any. I need to know, for science. So Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem is a new animated Ninja Turtles film, also another example of how Spider-Verse has inspired animation and film. Though I will say the animation in the world of Mutant Mayhem doesn't feel like a Spider-Verse clone. Inspiration, sure, but it does have its own flavor, its own take. I appreciate that. I will say this, I do think kids will have fun with this movie. The positives being, first and foremost, the animation. If you're a kid and you're like, bright colors and energy, you'll probably be in. Also, like the soundtrack, I thought the soundtrack was a lot of fun and they had a lot of fun with it in the film. It either adds to a fight sequence or yes, adds to a joke. This movie being a comedy. 100% comedy. That gets exhausting for me. I like my Ninja Turtles just to feel badass and the comedy come through in parts where it's warranted. This movie does have Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg listed among the writers for this film, and you do feel it does show. It's made for kids until it might scare the shit out of them. There are some scenes where I'm like, yeah, it's made for... Is that gonna scare the fuck out of kids? It might scare your kids. I mean, the villain's a really big mutant fly in the movie. He's pretty intense, actually. He's one of the best parts of the film. No, it's not Baxter Stockman. Baxter Stockman was at the beginning of the film, and then, hey, big mutant fly who's not Baxter Stockman, when that character, the fly, his name is Superfly, was originally going to be Baxter Stockman, as seen by the toy, the action figure. I don't know why they changed it. Maybe, just maybe, is because they were like, hey, we just wrote this new Ninja Turtles movie. Yeah, Baxter Stockman's story is a lot like The Fly. Who owns that? Fox? They won't sue us. It'll be fine. Change it. That is no longer Baxter Stockman. He is now Superfly. We are not taking on the Empire's IP head on. No. But to be clear, I don't know why. Yes, we're dealing with the world of Ninja Turtles, an IP that has so many mutants you do not need to make one up for a movie. Making up a mutant for a movie of Ninja Turtles would be like making up a character to be in a Mortal Kombat movie. Oh yeah. Right, in a world where that just seems like a dumb move, they made the character work. I just love it when movies take an obscure villain and make that villain cool. And yeah, Ice Cube was great voicing him. At first, he seems kind of cool, like you can maybe hang out with this guy, and then he gets intense. And when he gets intense, it's scary. Last but not least, this film is 90 minutes long. Let's give it credit for that alone. It feels like so long since I've seen a movie be 90 minutes and be okay with that. I appreciate that about Mutant Mayhem. So I can imagine this will land for kids. I imagine they'll find it fun, not a little scary at times. And as a professional, I should be able to separate my own mind from that reality and proceed accordingly. But you clicked on my video for my opinion, so this is what we're gonna do. I call it bitching about trivial shit that doesn't matter in the world. But I do YouTube videos, so here we go. When it comes to Ninja Turtles, can't help it, I do have thoughts, and generally it comes down to the lore and the execution of it. It's kind of not here. Case in point, the story of the Ninja Turtles in this movie. Well, it's familiar to a point. Turtles in the sewer, mutagen ooze, they mutate, Splinter mutates. However, where did they learn their martial arts? Where did they learn the ninjutsu? They learned it by watching movies. Of course? I don't know, I saw that and I was like, this feels like it was written for an entire generation that's just done trying and has no imagination. It's like Hollywood has a different perspective, a different mindset. Maybe the audience does too, but so I just don't connect with it. The mindset being the Ninja Turtles, in order for 2023 little Timmy to relate to them, the Ninja Turtles themselves have to be kids who don't know martial arts and don't know ninjutsu, but they just emulate what they see in martial arts movies like little Timmy does. I would think being a young Ninja Turtles fan and seeing Ninja Turtles who don't actually know ninjutsu and don't know martial arts, they just emulate what they see on TV, is kind of like the old adage, never meet your heroes. Don't make the Ninja Turtles Steven Seagal. That sucks. And yeah, this movie has a lot of mutants, but it feels like someone was just like, all right, there's a poster of all the mutants, we're gonna have them. Those two are girls now. We good? We got it? Awesome. Doesn't feel like any thought went into it. You have Mondo Gecko, Scumbug, Genghis Frog, a lot more. And I feel like they just could have been anybody. Paul Rudd as Mondo Gecko was one of the ones who stood out more. And I couldn't even tell that was Paul Rudd. Didn't find out until later. But Bebop and Rocksteady had so much more personality in that live action movie they were in than this film. Giancarlo Esposito as Baxter Stockman is one of the greatest castings ever. It's at the very beginning, then he's just not in the movie. I would say the actors were wasted, but I feel they did their job perfectly. Their job being pad the IMDb page for this film. There are more than a couple times in this movie where the movie is trying to have a lesson, or we'll say a theme, and instead of allowing the audience to be like, hey, I see that, I make the connection myself. It's like the movie grows impatient and just tells the audience the connection they're supposed to be making. It's like, we'll do it for you. Your brain's the middleman. We're just removing the middleman. Which is a bummer because some of the lessons in the movie are actually good lessons, you know, not judging the group as a whole based on the actions of a few. Most people can get behind that when it comes to their group. Throw it out the window when it comes to the other group, but they love that for their group. Actually, in thinking about it, the movie does a lot of tell rather than show. One example is Raphael's rage. There are a lot of references to Raphael's rage, a lot of jokes about Raphael's rage, but he never actually feels like he has emotional rage. It's a nod and a wink that the characters give to the audience because we know he's supposed to have that. So at that point, it's a reference. And I feel the emotional tones this movie was going for were buried under the weight of the comedy because this movie is absolutely a comedy. Not that comedies can't have emotional moments that land. I just feel in this movie in particular, they didn't because they didn't balance the two elements out. And how the movie wraps up, we're talking the very end, then cut to credits, that moment, I didn't like it. It didn't feel like Ninja Turtles to me. Look, like I said, if you have kids, they're probably gonna have a lot of fun with this film. Except when Splinter made out with Scumbug. That was just gross at any age. Spoilers. It's fast-paced, funny, with eye-catching animation. But I don't have kids. And for me, I think this movie would be a better time. If you're drunk. Yeah, cowabunga, dude! Alright, so Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. Have you seen it? What did you think about it? Or who's your favorite Ninja Turtle? Or the one that you related most to? Whoever it is, whoever you think, comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.